Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and this is probably the last video of the day. And I would ask, before we get into it, do please hit the subscribe button if you're yet to subscribe. We're only 3 away from 9,000. It would be fantastic to hit that today. Now, this story is one I quite liked. I do like to finish the day on a lighter note, and this one is brilliant. Alex Salmond. There seems to be something fishy going on. Won't crack that one again. But he's been accused of stealing the Stone of Destiny, or the Stone of Scone as it's also known. Apparently it was turned into private property and he's had it away. That's the claim. He's stolen it. No, I'm serious. It sounds a made up thing. It's not. It's genuinely true. Now, he's saying he hasn't stolen it. He left it on his desk and it's gone missing. He wanted it to be, displayed, but apparently it's gone. It's turned up missing. He doesn't know where it is. Nobody knows where it is. And people are sort of questioning what the hell is going on. And why has Alex Salmond got the Stone of Scone? All is not as it seems, though. It is genuine. But we'll see. Here goes. So, Alex Salmond accused of stealing a piece of the Stone of Destiny, as he claims he left it in Butte House. Now, of course, we weren't talking about the great big piece that sits under the throne when Charlie got his funny hat put on. But it is still, nonetheless, a piece of the original stone. It was taken out, and he's lost it. Or he's had it, or somebody's taken it off his desk. Nobody knows where it is. The former First Minister was urged to hand back his piece of the historic stone so it could be displayed in a Perth museum. But he claimed he did not have it, as it was still in the Scottish Government's possession. Well, he can claim that, but of course, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now, I don't see Alex Salmond as a thief, and of course, we're just joshing and having a bit of fun here. He did not steal it, and it isn't what it seems. But it's very weird what's happened. Genuinely weird. Because they have actually made this piece of that stone private property. And they gave it to Alex Salmond. This is true. Why would they do this? Such a historic thing. Now, what it is just a bit of stone. But what it represents, the symbolism to it, that's important. The stone itself, not important. The symbolism, massively important. You know, Edward I, Hammer of the Scots and all that. The symbolism is there. So it is, of course, historically very important. So why are they making it private property and, I don't know, selling bits off, giving bits away? Won't last long, you keep doing that. Anyway, Alex Salmond has hit back at claims that he stole a piece of the Stone of Destiny, as he faced growing calls for him to hand it back. Recently released files by the National Records of Scotland said that former First Minister was handed a fragment of the historic rock by Professor Neil McCormick, whose father helped finance its theft from Westminster Abbey in 1950. I don't know how many people, I'm sure most of the people who watch my channel will be aware of this. Happened before I was born, but I do know of that incident. It was quite famous at the time. It showed that he was told that he could keep the artefact by the Scottish Executive's top bureaucrat Sir John Elvidge in 2008. It's not John Elvidge's place to hand over historical artefacts to private individuals. Anyway, he was a then permanent secretary agreeing that it need not be surrendered to Historic Scotland, and it has led to accusations that he has stolen a piece of Scotland's history. Former Scottish Secretary Lord Forsyth of Drumleen, who brought the stone back to Scotland, told the Daily Telegraph that the fragment should be returned and displayed in a new museum planned for Perth. He said, "I cannot imagine how Alex Salmond thought it appropriate to keep a gift of part of the stone, which was obtained as a result of a criminal act. The fragment should be displayed in the new museum planned at Perth." Meanwhile, the current Scottish Secretary, Alistair Jack, added, "The Stone of Scone is an artefact of immense historical importance. This fragment and any other pieces that were lost at the time it was taken should be in the care of the Stone's new home, Perth Museum, which I'm proud to say is being developed with £10 million of UK government funding. He had to get that in, didn't he? Because obviously the SNP don't have £10 million to build a museum to show the history of Scotland. It requires Westminster to fund that. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that marvellously and beautifully ironic that Westminster are paying for a museum on the history of Scotland because the Scottish government won't? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyway, Mr. Salmond, who now leads the Alba party, has denied he still has the piece and insisted that he believes it's been put in an Aladdin's cave cupboard for gifts at Bute House or has been moved to the Scottish government's headquarters, St Andrew's House. I honestly don't think he'd have kept it. I think he's aware. He's not a stupid man. But it is just amusing that this vitally important piece of, national treasure, national history has been lost because somebody thought, let's just make it a bit of private property and give it away to some bloke. Ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, he added that the SNP executive gave a fragment of the stone to be encased in the seat of Queen Elizabeth's carriage for her Diamond Jubilee in 2011, but he did not know if it was the same one. He said whether that was McCormack's fragment or another one, I'm not altogether sure. What I can say is that it is not in my possession, nor is it under my car seat. Yes, I don't think that'd make him King of Scotland, wouldn't it? Driving around with the stone under him. He said, I'm not altogether certain that Historic Scotland was enthused by the idea of multiple fragments of the stone coming into official possession, as they had completed their own test on the authenticity of the relic, and Sir John Elvidge may have decided that designating it as private property was the most elegant solution. Oh, I see what he's done. Right, in order to do the test, they don't want to do the test on the actual stone of being a historical value of the nation. So taken the small fragment, said, oh, we'll make that private property so that we can then test private property, not state property. That's how it got made private property. And because it was then private, Alex Salmond kept it. He didn't keep it. He was given it. I do believe that he left it. I do believe that he didn't take it home. For all his faults, I don't see him as a thief, and I'm not going to suggest that at all. But it doesn't mean we can't have fun with him. Anyway, Mr. Salmond did not contest the accuracy of the cabinet minutes, and he said that the story may be rather more involved than the documents show, and is partly previously campaigned to keep the Stone of Destiny in Scotland and not allow it to go down to England for King Charles' coronation over fears it would be stolen. By whom? Charlie? Charlie don't care. Put it under his seat. Put the silly hat on. Okay, he has to bare his breast, and he gets anointed with the holy water and the oils, and then on he goes and waves a tentacle outside the palace. Not a problem. Incidentally, he said about Charlie bearing his breast. When the Queen was crowned way back in 1953, when she was crowned, she too had to expose her left breast to the then Archbishop and have the oil pointed on her breast. And that is why they put the screen around, so that you couldn't see the Queen's nipple. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? It's all in secret, because it's like, the little cabal rolls up his trouser leg, puts his little pinny on. You know exactly what I mean. Shake hands. Anyway, the Scottish Government spokesman said the Stone of Destiny is the responsibility of the commissioners for the safeguarding of the regalia. And the commissioners have been advised about the content of the 2008 Cabinet paper, and the Scottish Government understands the commissioners have simply noted the historical position, but what they haven't noted is where the bloody hell is that bit of stone. Don't think Salmond's got it. Someone's lost it. If it's put into that carriage, it may still be in the carriage. Who knows? Maybe it fell out. Maybe it's been swept up and thrown in a bin. Maybe it's sitting in a landfill somewhere. Maybe it's a paperweight on someone's desk. Who knows? The big bit. That's the important bit. The scraping's off. Not so important. Anyway, there's me casually throwing away 800 years of Scottish history. God. Don't think ill of me. I don't mean to dismiss the very small piece that fell off that was sitting on his desk or whatever, but the big bit is the important bit, isn't it? Anyway, I shall stop there before I open my mouth any further. I shall come up and we'll round off. It has had a bit of a torrid history, hasn't it? Stolen by Edward I, moved to London, bounced around, Oxford for a while, was it? Then it ended up in, Bath? then back to London. Then they hid it during World War One. They hid it during World War Two. It was lost temporarily for a while, wasn't it? They didn't know where they put it, and then it was stolen in 1950, broken, then recovered. Then it was handed back to Scotland in 2000 and something, and then was it 2000 and something or 1990 something? Anyway, it was handed back to Scotland. And then it sat there, unused, unloved, unseen for such a long time. And then Charlie says, oh, I need it. And then all these people go, you can't have it, you can't have it, you can't have it. Why? It's sat there it's traditional. Nobody's going to steal it. No one in London is going to go, oh, we've got it now, you're not having it back. That ain't going to happen. Grow up, you children. It's just a tradition. Anyway, there we go. It's had a lot of fun, hasn't it? Could have a lot more. Especially if they steal it back. That'd be great, wouldn't it? If someone went up to Scotland and stole it back and slipped it back into the Abbey. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening. That's it, I think, for the night. Unless a big story breaks. And so I shall bid you adieu until tomorrow. Have a good evening. I'm going to go and have a glass of wine. At least. Well, it's going to be a bottle of wine, isn't it? Till tomorrow. Bye.